Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
Today on CityCast Houston, we all get a little too comfortable in our daily routines and habits. So today, executive producer Laura Isensee, producer Carlignon Jones, and Hey Houston newsletter editor Brooke Lewis are going to help you leave your comfort zone with new ideas for activities and adventures around H-Town. It's Thursday, June 20th. I'm Raheel Ramzanali, and here's what Houston's talking about. Good morning, everybody. Brooke, Carly, and Laura Isensee, our new executive producer. How's everybody doing?
Doing well.
Pretty good.
Doing great.
Okay, so one of my favorite quotes I've ever heard from coaches has been, get comfortable with the uncomfortable. So we're going to talk about our comfort zones and exactly where they are and ways to get out of your comfort zone in the city of Houston. So I want to start with kind of setting the baseline of what is your comfort zone. And look, since you're new here, Laura, you go first. First of all, tell us, how is it being part of this team? And then answer this question for me. What is your comfort zone?
Well, being part of the team is awesome. I'm so glad to be with y'all and also just the CityCast Houston community. And here in Houston, I really am in my comfort zone when I go to one of my favorite coffee shops like Cafe Brazil or Antidote. I also love going to new coffee shops. But Houston is home for me. So really, when I go back to my parents' house in the neighborhood I grew up in Southwest Houston, that's really my true comfort zone. It's part of the city that still hasn't changed that much. I can just relax and chill there. And just one mention for everybody listening, I'm getting over a cold. I am getting back my voice, so I don't always sound like this, but I did not want to miss this team chat.
Okay, Laura, so you've established your comfort zone. What's the craziest thing you've done that kind of put you out of your comfort zone? Tell me.
Well, a few years ago, I did a critical mass bike ride, and I'm not the most skilled biker. I like cycling, but I was still kind of newbie, and I had never done a ginormous bike ride like that. My then boyfriend, now husband, we were doing the critical mass, and we started downtown, and it was a route in East Houston. And it was just really kind of cool, but also uncomfortable to be with hundreds of other bicyclists, some with lights and music, and just like taking over the streets in East Houston. It was really fun, but it definitely kind of pushed me out there. And Critical Mass is still going on. They have monthly meetups. They usually start downtown. So it's a really cool way to connect with people. If you're new to cycling, they welcome to people of all skill levels and get to explore city streets in Houston in a different way. But yeah, it can be a little uncomfortable also because Houston isn't the most friendly to people riding bikes. So this is kind of a way to claim back the streets.
Yeah, for sure. Those videos from Critical Mass always give me anxiety because there's just so many people. Carly, how about you? What is your comfort zone and what's the craziest thing you've done to leave it?
So my comfort zone is pretty wide because I'm a pretty adventurous person. Like I like doing all types of things from like traveling, sporting events, water activities, like you name it, I probably have done it. But what makes me uncomfortable is when I do things alone, okay? Like I can go eat alone sometimes, but even then I have like a headphone in, I'm like watching a TV show or I'm like on the phone with a friend or something like that to kind of make me more comfortable. So for me, it's really just kind of like pushing myself to do things by myself,
Yeah, that makes sense. And that's how I know you're not a parent either, because for me, like eating alone
Uh-huh.
is a luxury.
Yeah.
I'm so excited that I have time to myself. I can just hang out, be with my thoughts, and not have somebody asking a question all the time. I love my kids. I
Mhm.
love my wife, but I just need that break every once in a while.
You don't have to share your food that day. I get you. I get you.
Yes.
So since I'm uncomfortable with being alone, the craziest thing that I've done was go to a Drake concert by myself. Now, I couldn't have missed Drake because he's
Wow.
my favorite. I love Drake. That's my favorite artist. So I was like, okay, I gotta go. I had already bought the ticket and I couldn't convince any of my friends to go. So I went by myself, and I have to say, like, when I got there, I was like super nervous. Like, I kind of wanted to shed a tear a little bit. I was like, oh my God. But when I went inside, I really had a great experience because I got in line and someone came up to me and they were like, are you alone? And I was like, yeah, I was a little scared because, stranger danger. But they ended up buying me a drink and being really sweet. And the girls that I sat next to, they were so sweet too. They made me feel like I was one of their friends. We took pictures together and everything. So it was great.
Oh,
So,
that's cool.
yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You are so much more brave than me, because there have been so many times where I've wanted to go watch an artist and my
Mhm.
wife is like, no, I really don't want to go.
Mhm.
And I don't have that spirit in me to go alone. So the fact that you did, that's really cool.
Yeah. After you spend like that ticket, I don't want to put myself out there, but that ticket was expensive. Okay.
No.
And once you pay
Yeah,
for
yeah.
that ticket, you got to go.
For sure, for sure. So my comfort zone, I'm a lot like y'all, where I'm adventurous. I never say no to a lot of things. Like, I love trying things out. But where I get really uncomfortable is when I have to dance in front of people. So at weddings, at events, if you're just dancing, I can't do it. And I force myself to do it. People make fun of me because I have no rhythm. But yeah, my comfort zone is like everything up until dancing.
Okay.
That's why they say dance like no one is watching.
Yeah, but
And then you
everyone's
can
watching.
just dance.
He's like, but everybody's watching me though. Everybody's looking at me.
Just close your eyes.
Just pretend.
That's what I do. That's what I do. When I do go dance, I'm just like, whatever. I don't care. If people post this on social media, it's all right. No big deal. But yeah, I have no rhythm. So that is my uncomfortable zone right there. Brooke, how about you? What is your comfort zone, and what's the craziest thing you've done to leave it?
Yeah, so I would say, like Carly, my comfort zone is pretty wide ranging. Although I am someone who can eat alone, it must be the only child of me where I'm like totally fine with eating by myself. Like, it doesn't bother me going out to eat alone. I would prefer going with friends or somebody else, but I'm fine with that. But I think the thing that always gets me a little nervous is going into a room full of strangers. Like, I'm definitely an introvert, so having to talk to strangers like at a happy hour or some kind of networking event, that always makes me nervous. But when I first moved to Houston to get out of my comfort zone, I actually joined some meetup groups so that I could make new friends. I'm from Houston, grew up here, but a lot of my friends had moved away. So that was definitely out of my comfort zone because it was a lot of, how are you? Small talk that I don't like the conversation that kind of just makes me nervous. But it was a really cool way to meet people. And it led me to joining Houston area Urban League Young Professionals, which is a young professional group for Black professionals in Houston. And I was a part of that organization for a lot of my 20s. So it was really a great way to get involved. We did service projects across the community, and it was a good way to leave my comfort zone.
I'm going to assume a lot of listeners are like us in that being alone or doing things solo might be an uncomfortable thing. So let's give some suggestions on how to break that comfort zone and being comfortable with being alone. Like, what should they do? Why don't you start us off, Carly?
Okay, so I think that a good way to do something alone is to go to a class, right? And for me, there's no better way to go to a class than a class that has food involved, okay? So I would suggest going to like a cooking class, which I linked one in the show notes called Well Done Cooking Classes, because this one specifically has a lot of in-person classes that give you like some different variety of different types of food. If you even want to bake, they have that option. If you want to do couples classes, even though I know this is a solo thing, but if you want to go solo, that's also an option. Classes start from about like $79 for singles and then $180 for couples if you do decide to do it as a couple. But I definitely feel like this is a great way to get out there and do something by yourself, because when you're in a class, you're usually next to somebody. You kind of like have to talk to them a little bit. So it kind of
Yeah.
gets you out of your comfort zone. Like, you meet new people, you're doing a new activity, learning something new. I really feel like that's the best way to get out of your comfort zone.
That's a really good suggestion right there. And you pick up a new skill set as well, right? You can apply that to something. So that's really good right there. Laura, how about you? What's something a listener should do to break their comfort zone and leave it with a solo adventure?
Here at CityCast, we're all about being a good neighbor and civic service. So I think one way listeners can break out of their comfort zone is to be alone at the ballot box. So I'm talking about voting. We've had a lot of local elections recently, back to back and runoffs and primaries, and it can be kind of exhausting. Voter fatigue is real. But our turnout is really super low. This last runoff for the Harris County Appraisal District seats, less than 50,000 people voted and made a decision for over 2.6 million registered voters. So it was the lowest voter turnout in a countywide non-primary election since 1996, like a long time
That's
ago.
crazy.
So we have low voter turnout. It's kind of sinking lower. And so I think it would be great to break out of the comfort zone, register to vote if you're not registered, or next election, put time on your calendar. It can be kind of hassle to break away from work or your family routine. Now you can vote at any poll. You don't have to go to your precinct. And I dropped a link in the show notes to how you can register to vote in the state of Texas. So yeah, I think that would be a great way. Break out of your comfort zone if you're not in the practice of voting.
Yeah.
It's just a great civic habit.
I'm going to add one more thing to that. Leaving that comfort zone of researching exactly who you're voting for, because that takes a lot of time. It takes effort, and people don't like doing that. It's very uncomfortable to learn about every single candidate, learn about every single policy that they're going to be endorsing or are endorsing. So leaving that comfort zone, I think, helps as well.
Yeah, totally. And there's some great resources. League of Women Voters is nonpartisan and they often give breakdowns. So yeah, that's another hurdle to kind of break out of the comfort zone. And so schedule time for the research and the voting.
Brooke, what is your suggestion of leaving your comfort zone in a solo adventure?
So unlike Raheel, I do like to dance in public. I don't care who's watching. But for me to get out of my comfort zone and make new friends, when I first moved back to Houston, I did join a dance class. And it was a hip hop dance class that I did with my friend. And we had so much fun. We ended up making friends in the class. We became friends with the instructor even. And it was just a great introduction back into Houston. I will say one of my New Year's resolutions was to just be more active. And so this year I've been taking some ballet classes at Metropolitan Dance Center. And so that's a really cool way to get involved. Like maybe, let's say you grew up taking dance, or maybe you didn't. At Metropolitan Dance Center, they do have just beginning level classes for people who have never taken a dance class before for adults. And they also have ballet classes at Houston Ballet, adult ballet classes. So if you're interested, I would just highly suggest checking it out, because when I first walked into my class, I went to like an intermediate class and I was like, this is going to be too hard. But everybody was so welcoming. So that's a great way to get out of your comfort zone and dance.
Okay, it looks like I have to sign up for one of these, because I need to get comfortable dancing, and that's a good way to do it. And I don't like taking many classes either. I just feel like people are watching me, but I know they're not. Even if I go do a yoga class, Brooke, I'm always in the back.
Oh, no.
Like, I don't care.
This episode is brought to you by La Quinta by Wyndham. Your work can take you all over the place, like Texas. You've never been, but it's going to be great because you're staying at La Quinta by Wyndham. Their free Bright Side breakfast will give you energy for the day ahead. And after, you can unwind using their free high-speed Wi-Fi. Tonight, La Quinta. Tomorrow, you shine. Book your stay today at lq.com.
Okay, I'm going to throw one out real quickly for our listeners and for everyone here in this chat. I can't recommend going to an improv class alone enough. I did this in college to break my comfort zone and leave it a little bit, and also get really good at improving, right? And you can use this skill set when you are going to mixers, when you are just randomly showing up to a class so you can talk to people, you're quick on your feet. So you can go to a couple of places, the Houston School of Improv or the Station Theater. They also have different types of classes. So I want to throw that one out there for our listeners. Now let's do a way to leave your comfort zone with a friend, with a partner, a couple's adventure. Can you start us off, Brooke?
I think a good way to leave your comfort zone, especially in the summer, is to head closer towards water, get out of your daily routine, go on a little day trip. And one of my favorite places to go is New Braunfels and to float the river in New Braunfels. Like there's nothing more refreshing on like 100+ degree day is to get into the water, get in your little tube with your friends and just float down the river. I love that. You could also go to Schlitterbahn, which is nearby. If you don't want to travel far, you can go to Splashtown. Like, what a throwback. I haven't been to Splashtown in years. I really want to go. It actually is making me want to go this summer. Or you could go to Schlitterbahn and Galveston. Those are really good options if you don't want to travel far and you just want to break up your routine and escape the heat because it's just going to get hotter and hotter, y'all.
Okay, I like that little water park adventure. So get away, get cooled down, and float the river, or go to one of the many parks around the area and in Central Texas. I love that one. Laura, how about you?
I would suggest if you're wanting to break out of your comfort zone with friends or your family, I have little kids, so I'm all about the parks. And Aldine is usually not at the top of the list of places to go and visit in the Houston area, but I want to highlight a fairly new playground out there called James Driver Park. And the great thing about this park is that it is designed for people of all abilities. So it's an all-inclusive park, and it has some features that you're really not going to find anywhere else in the city. So I'm talking about sidewalks that are extra wide. 2 wheelchairs can go side by side. There's a sensory garden, adaptive swings. There are no curbs, no ramps. It's barrier free. And let's keep it real for a second. It also has bathrooms and they're extra large. And
Hey,
if you're
nice.
with kids, you know what I'm talking about. Bathrooms are important. And it also has some fun spots for adults too. Like it has these great hammocks. You can just kind of chill. It has outdoor exercise equipment. There's also some courts, bocce. I have no idea how to play that, but I hear it's fun. So yeah, you can get out of your comfort zone, go to another part of the city. Maybe you're not familiar with Aldine and really get to explore something that's special and great for the whole family.
That sounds like a blast. And I love that it's an all-inclusive park. So you're going to meet a lot of different people. You're going to get to experience things that you won't normally get to experience at other parks. I love this.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Okay, my comfort zone for me and my wife, we like being at home. We like being around the kids. We don't like leaving that comfort zone too much. So for us, I like going to charity dinners, and you're probably thinking, well, I don't want to spend that money. The other way we do it is we go volunteer. Go volunteer around organizations, around charities in your area, and leave your bubble. It's a great way to, one, give back to the community, especially your local community. And two, it helps you leave that comfort zone of being at home and talking to strangers, learning something new, helping out. I love volunteering. That's my way to really leave the comfort zone with my family and especially my wife. So I want to throw that out there. There's various charities around your area. Just look them up. So that's a good way to leave your comfort zone. Carly, how about you? What's a good way to leave the comfort zone for a partner in a couple setting? Give me something here.
So for me, I think that camping is like the best way to
Oh my
leave your
God,
comfort
yes.
zone as a group. Because like in this generation, as we all know, a lot of us are like city slickers, as my like grandma would say. So everybody's like with that city life and with technology every second of the day on video games, on cell phones and things like that. So I think that if you want to go out and bond and do something together, whether it's with your friends or your partner, going camping is the best way to like spend time with someone and like really get to know them, really talk to them because you're kind of like forced to. You don't really have, cell phones to just sit around and talk on the whole time, but you get to like really bond and spend time together. And there's so many places to go camping that are like 50-minute to an hour drive from Houston. So I linked an article from the Houston Chronicle where they're listing all these beautiful state parks that are close to Houston, places that I had never even heard of, like Lake Livingston State Park. I didn't know about that one. So go check this list out and go figure out which one is best for you, closest to where you live, and go camping.
Carly, I love camping, so I love this suggestion.
Mhm.
But here's the problem at these campsites. You get cell phone service everywhere you go now. And that
Terrible.
takes
Yeah.
away from everything you just mentioned. So
Aw.
you have to make the conscious effort of not jumping on the Wi-Fi or turning off your cell service now because everybody needs that phone, right? And
Yeah.
I've gone camping the last 2 years. I take my oldest daughter and I have to leave my phone on because I'm worried. What if something happens at home, right? So
Mhm.
I love camping though. I love this one.
I think that so many places have started including the Wi-Fi, but whenever I used to go to cabins and things like that, we didn't have any cell service. So I guess
know.
it depends on which place you go to. Maybe you should be intentional on going to a place where you know that cell service is not going to be working the whole time so you can actually enjoy your trip,
Yeah. Or just turn off the phone. Just turn it off.
Yeah, put
Mhm.
it on airplane mode, like you're going on the airplane, put it on
Yeah.
airplane mode.
Mhm.
I love this one. I feel like being out in nature, it just fills my cup. But I do have to say camping is way outside my comfort zone. I'm
Yeah.
gonna take baby steps. I'm gonna do a little glamping
Yes.
first,
Yeah.
maybe a cabin or an RV. I don't know if I can do the full tent, but I'll get there. I'll
You
get
gotta
there.
you gotta do the tent. We gotta.
I'm
We're
with
doing
Laura.
that.
I'm with Laura. I'm I could do a little cabin, maybe a little glamping style. I don't know if I'm ready for a tent yet. Especially camping in this heat, you guys. I don't know
Yeah.
about that in the tent.
That's the best
Ugh.
part. Oh, the stickiness. You're just
No.
I just want to go home.
Okay,
But that's why
okay.
you leave your comfort zone.
Y'all go, and then we'll report back.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Fair.
Meanwhile,
Yeah,
Laura
deal.
and I will be in a nice little cabin with somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love this. This was so much fun, leaving our comfort zones together. And if you're out and about trying one of our suggestions, please send us a picture on Instagram at CityCast Houston. Just send us a DM or tag us. We love seeing y'all take our suggestions and actually using them around the city and surrounding areas. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Have fun,
Thanks.
guys.
That was executive producer Laura Isensee, producer Carlignon Jones, and Hey Houston newsletter editor Brooke Lewis. If you enjoyed this episode, help a friend leave their comfort zone by sharing this episode with them. I appreciate it. That will do it for today. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something new. Everything good, bro?
Yeah. My cat.
Your cat? It's
No,
your cat.
it was not even her, but I have cat food on a shelf and it just all flew off without any warning and it's all over the floor. But I'll do it. I'll fix it
Oh my
after this.
gosh.
Oh
Hopefully my
gosh.
cat doesn't come out. I don't know what happened.
Oh gosh.